I'm probably going to lose some subscribers over this, but it's worth it if I can spare even one agent from crippling regret. We're going to jump right into some of the absolute worst reasons agents join a new brokerage. These also apply to teams and downlines too. So please do yourself a favor, watch this video so that maybe, just maybe, I might be able to help save you from making a terrible decision. Here we go. Number one of the most terrible reasons agents join a new brokerage is coaching, training, and masterminds. Yep. One of the most common things brokerages, teams, and downlines use to recruit agents is actually one of the worst reasons to join any of them. Let me explain. When it comes to coaching, training, and masterminds, they are almost never exclusive to a brokerage. No, please, stop. Don't buy what they told you. I have yet to see a mastermind coaching program or other type of training at a brokerage that wasn't available, often for free, outside of the brokerage. And if on some rare occasion there was one that was actually exclusive to a brokerage, then without a doubt, with a tiny bit of internet effort, you could find an equally quality coaching, training, or mastermind somewhere else. Again, often for free. Now, to be fair, there was a time when what a brokerage offered in these areas was critical, but that was a long time ago. Times have changed, and so have the reasons an agent should use when choosing to join a brokerage. But even within this point of coaching, training, and masterminds, there's an even bigger mistake that agents and teams commonly make, and that is the need for a physical location. Before I explain, let me ask you a question. If you look at the best teams and top producers in the entire world, how physically close are they to their coaches, their masterminds? Almost always, they are in different states, sometimes even in different countries. But wait, all those brokerages trying to recruit you are saying you have to have someone local. You have to have a physical office. Otherwise, you can't succeed. Yet, where's the actual evidence of that? The best of the best didn't get to the level they are at because they chose to follow emotions over facts. They do what's best for their business, period. They understand that physical proximity to a coach, a mastermind, or a building is not necessary on a day-to-day basis, and in fact, can even be a hindrance. They know, you know, that you should be working. More often than not, a 20-minute phone call or Zoom, along with getting into high-level masterminds periodically in person, is a far more proven process for success than wanting to socialize at the water cooler. Remember, you get paid to work, not to commute, not to chat and just hang out, not to justify unproductive and distracting behavior, not to network with other agents, knowing full well you rarely produce any deals from that versus other proven activities. It's actually wild to see how many agents will choose the physical proximity of a person or place over the actual value provided to them. It's like they still have the mindset of needing a boss, treating them like an employee and coworkers to help them kill the time until they clock out. I'm about to let you in on something that I've never seen any other coach, guru, prominent real estate figure ever share with anyone else in the industry, and even say publicly, maybe because they don't know or they don't want you to know. And that is this. In my years of coaching thousands of agents, I will say that the number one reason I've seen agents choose the proximity they have to a coaching, training, or office over the quality of those things is because they believe that being physically closer to them will somehow mean that they will have to do less work than they know they need to do. Listen, I can feel your blood pressure rising already. So stop fighting me on that for a second, because I want to challenge you to give me one good reason why having your coach, a training, or office nearby, local and convenient to you is essential for your success. Well, Robert, they know my market. Isn't it your job to know your market? And if that were the case, by the way, then why do the best teams and agents work with coaches and attend training from people who have never stepped foot in their market ever? Maybe, just maybe, the reason you're not expanding and growing like you want to be isn't because of your local market. Everyone always believes their market is different than everyone else's, which is essentially a built-in excuse to fail. Well, Robert, I just do better masterminding and learning in person. Really? So what you're saying is, unless there is someone local to make sure you're doing your job, aka manage you, then you won't do what it takes to grow? Let me put it a different way. If you need in-person coaching and training, and again, I'm not talking about conferences or workshops to level up. No, I'm saying on the daily. What you're saying is, if you were given the information you need to succeed, to solve your problems, and the support to get you where you want to go, you would simply not do the work because someone wasn't delivering that information to you on a personal level? Now, before you start making other excuses, let me be a little gracious. This is the way you were conditioned to think, to be an employee, to work for others, to wait upon someone else to give you purpose in life. But let me ask you this. If you were at a listing appointment in your city and the homeowner said, "Sorry, we're going to go with another agent because they live down the street from us, while you live on the other side of town," you, the expert that you are, would remind them that you have access to the same information as that other agent and that your physical location and proximity to the seller is irrelevant, because as long as you have the data, tools, and skills needed for successfully selling their home, then your proximity to that home doesn't matter. So if that's the advice you give to your clients, why don't you take that advice for yourself? Either you're lying to them or you're lying to yourself. Which is it? So stop those excuses, stop the limiting beliefs, and do what's best for your business, not your fears. How's that for a first point? I told you I'm going to get some serious hate for this video, but oh well. I think you guys are worth protecting from the endless mistakes I see agents make when joining a brokerage team or downline. By the way, if you think that one was intense, wait until you hear number 6, because that's where I'm for sure going to lose some subscribers. Okay, let's keep it moving. Next up of terrible reasons to join a brokerage is... this trendy word drives me crazy. Don't get me wrong, culture is important, but it is not a reason to join a brokerage. Let me be clear. Even in a toxic brokerage environment, you can thrive. You don't have to partake in it. You're your own boss, and you don't have to see or talk to anyone aside from your broker doing their job. Now, a broker not doing their job is a reason to leave. Just to be clear there. Anyway, culture is not a value proposition because it cannot be controlled or quantified. You very likely have little to no influence over the leaders, decisions, staff, or any other aspect of the brokerage's culture either. I hate to break it to you, but quite frankly, you're likely just not that impactful. Yet, on the other hand, you are the single greatest influencer of the culture in your own business, with agents and clients and vendors and partners, which can be anywhere at any brokerage at any time. So the next time a brokerage tells you culture is part of their value proposition, ask them in what tangible way that will net you more money. Chances are they resort to talking about their masterminds, coaching, training, courses, etc., instead of actually answering the question. You know why? Because they don't even know what the hell culture is either, nor do they know how to control it or use it for your benefit. Joining a brokerage for culture is like buying a car just to get the new car smell. You don't know why it smells this way, you don't know how long it will last, and it isn't an indicator of whether the car is safe, will perform well, or other important factors. So instead, focus on what really drives your business forward. All right, the next terrible reason to join a brokerage is, had to dodge a tomato for this one, stocks. I know, I'm hitting hard right now. I'm hitting real hard because stocks are always a hot commodity. You hear brokerages all the time bragging about their stocks and agents saying how they're getting stocks in their company. Now listen, that's actually a really awesome feature, but that is purely a nice little perk. Let me ask you a question real quick. When did your brokerage or the agent that recruited you suddenly become your stock advisor? What are their qualifications? Follow-up question. Did you really get into real estate to trade stocks? I didn't think so. You cannot meaningfully control, impact, or predict the stock market, especially for your real estate brokerage. You will likely never time the market right to pull in millions like those random success stories from early people at other brokerages. That doesn't mean stocks can't help you earn some money, and for a few, even a lot of money, and for even fewer, an absurd amount of money. But stocks are still just a nice perk to layer on top of your main business, selling real estate. Remember too, brokerages that offer stock incentives often have contingencies to control those stock awards, meaning reducing how much you can buy, the discount they give, the ability to purchase at all, and so on. Not to mention, a lot of the stock capping programs have a super high bar where you need to sell between 35 and 50 homes just to qualify. And since the vast majority of agents, even top producers in their areas, don't hit those types of numbers, that means the best stock programs aren't even applicable to most agents. If you stack that fact on top of all the other hoops that brokerages add in, you might even be losing money doing what it takes to earn the stock incentives. Even for someone like me, who is at Epique Realty, which has arguably the most achievable stock capping program of all the brokerages, because when you hit 24 transactions, you get up to $15K back in stock. No extra travel expenses, no working for free like the cultural requirements of EXP's Icon program, no fluctuating criteria where you never know if they'll change the requirements on you to qualify for the black badge like at LPT, no additional $6K in extra transaction fees on top of all the deals you needed to do to cap and qualify like at Real. But even so, even though I genuinely believe Epique beats out every other brokerage for their stock award for capping agents, I still put it low on the list of factors when choosing a brokerage. You probably should as well. Choosing a brokerage just for the stock options is like buying a house just because you like the paint color on the front door. It's flashy, catches your eye, but it tells you nothing about the foundation, the plumbing, or whether the roof is about to cave in. You're at a brokerage to build a solid real estate career, not gamble on market swings. Despite that I recruit full-time, I rarely use stocks as an incentive to join me at Epique, because the truth is, I'm not your stockbroker. My skill set is helping agents and teams exponentially net more money, offset expenses, get their time back, and overall live better. That's what I do. That's what I'm really, really good at. So what are you really, really good at? Moving on, now we get to courses and programs. I'm talking specifically when a brokerage downline or team is like, you get this amazing coaching program for free when you join us, or join us and you'll get access to this 5K course for free. I don't know who sounds like that, but whatever. It's a bunch of misleading garbage. Now, I'm not saying the quality of those courses and programs are garbage. No, a lot of them are actually probably really good. No, I'm saying the horribly misleading idea that getting them for free is anything worth moving brokerages for. You can get almost every course I've ever seen from the best real estate leaders for free on the internet, or you can get into an equally great program for free. Still, I'd argue that most of the time there is a high caliber coach who is giving away their secrets or access to their program for free somewhere in exchange for your attention. To add to that point, the vast majority of agents won't even use these exclusive programs and courses. How would I know? I've given away years worth of some of the best programs and courses absolutely free. Thousands upon thousands of agents have had access, hundreds of agents have opened them, and only a small handful have done anything with them. Don't get me wrong, those who have taken and implemented have seen unbelievable success. But joining a brokerage, downline, or team because they offer free courses and programs is like choosing to go to a restaurant because they offer free water. Everyone does it. It should be expected, and honestly, not even a consideration when joining a brokerage. Okay, let's keep going. Another terribly but painfully common reason to join a brokerage is for the split. For those of you who don't know, a split is simply what percentage the brokerage takes out of your commission. For instance, at KW, a common split is 36%, meaning KW takes 36% of every deal you do until you paid $18,000 and then you get 100%. In contrast, Epique split is 15%, meaning they take 15% of your commission until you reach $15,000 paid in, and then you get 100%. Quick side note, Epique is the only brokerage I know whose split gets lower every single year. So by year 5, your split at Epique is $10,000, while at KW it would still be $18K, EXP $16K, Real $12K, LPT $15K, and so on. Pretty amazing, right? Anyway, splits are still a terrible reason to join a brokerage. The main reason is that it's just a split. And unless you're only planning on doing a couple of deals a year, your split isn't that huge of a deal because, quite honestly, if you're just wanting to do 1 or 2 deals a year, a flat free brokerage as dirt cheap as possible is going to be a better deal in most cases because you're not looking to grow. However, if you do want to grow and scale, to have consistent income and unparalleled support, then it's more about whether what you're paying into the brokerage helps you actually earn more and live better. It's as simple as that. For instance, let's say you're at Real and have a 15% split. That's pretty average, maybe even below average, in a good way. But what are you getting for that split? If you compare it to KW at 36%, then you're getting a lot of money back and a couple extra perks. But what happens when you compare what you get for Epique's 15% split against what you get for Real's 15% split? At Real, are you getting free leads with no extra splits or fees? No. Are you getting free healthcare? No. Are you getting free prescriptions? No. Are you getting a free transaction coordinator on every deal, an agent billboard, a listing billboard, social media ads on your listings without spending a dime or lifting a finger that help you generate exclusive leads sent right to your CRM? Are you getting 20 plus other perks that are all included in your 15 split at Epique? Are you getting the same at Real? No, you're not. Not even remotely close. And Real's a good company. But at Epique, you are getting all that and a ton more. So as you can see, the split was a poor reason for that agent to leave KW and join Real because that agent then discovered they could get so much more for the same split at Epique and even have a lower cap by year 5 than Real. In other words, joining a brokerage for a split is like joining a gym based on the membership fee alone. But then you walk in and you find out they don't have any equipment inside, or they just don't have the equipment you need, when the place right next door for the exact same price has all the equipment you could want and need. That's why it has to be split plus cap plus fees plus what you get for those when you're deciding whether a brokerage is a good fit for you or not. And in fact, you should check my video out of the best reasons to join a brokerage. Speaking of checking out other things, jump into the description right now. Go and book a call with my team and I if you want to learn more about Epique, get your journey started. Maybe you just want to learn more about all the different perks and features that are offered at Epique. Whatever it is, get into that description and book a call with us. I'd love to connect with you. In addition, since this is a very common point that is brought up, let's talk about 100% brokerages, because I feel like the elephant in the room is, why go to a brokerage with a cap and a split when you can just make 100% of your commission and pay for those perks and fees yourself? I think that's a fair question. So these brokerages, 100% brokerages, often refer to having no splits, keep all your commission, and so on. In many cases, this is roughly true, but it's also a bit misleading because they usually have monthly fees, broker fees, transaction fees, annual fees, and so on. I mean, they have to make money somehow, right? But let's just assume they don't, and it truly is the absolute lowest cost brokerage imaginable. So I did some research, and here's what I realized. As you know, success leaves clues. Well, there are tons of great, amazing agents at 100% brokerages. Across the nation, none of the agents I look up to, admire, none of the state's top leaders, top teams, or even top coaches are at 100% brokerages. The biggest movers and shakers, the ones that had the most impact on the real estate industry as a whole, none of them are at 100% brokerages. Now remember, we said splits plus caps plus fees plus what you get for those are what dictate an actual tangible value proposition. You can see how easy of a mistake it was for the agent leaving KW chasing a lower split to jump into Real, when they could have had infinitely more for the same price at Epique. So, comparing it again, what about an agent comparing Epique to 100% brokerage? That's actually what I did before I left EXP. And I discovered after a lot of research that I'd be paying an extra $20K or more to get the services that Epique includes for all their agents, because Epique was getting these services at a rate none of us in this industry could ever get on our own. Sometimes they're getting these services at a 90% discount or even free that I'd be paying hundreds, if not thousands for. On top of that, Epique would save me money and time with transaction coordinators, doing social media ads, listing photos, sign placement removal, social media management, healthcare for my whole family, and numerous other items. So in other words, going to a 100% brokerage that cost me less than $5K a year would actually end up costing me way more. So once again, chasing the split alone would have led me to think I'd be saving money at KW, EXP, Real, LPT, or the illusion of keeping all my money at 100% brokerage, when in reality I'd be paying out infinitely more at all of them compared to, say, what Epique offers agents. To put it in one last way, joining 100% brokerage, or really any brokerage, just to chase the lowest splits, caps, fees, is like a carpenter deciding not to buy a level to save money. Initially, he saves a few dollars, but soon finds out his walls are crooked. This leads him to spend extra money on materials and put in additional hours of labor, ultimately costing him more than the level would have. In real estate, as in carpentry, the right tools, like support from the right brokerage, not just the lowest split, will make you far more money, get your time back, and reduce mistakes and stress. Real quick, while you're typing that comment, before we get into the next reason that is so unbelievably common, and more agents do this than they even realize, if you've got more questions about Epique, are ready to join us, or want a custom breakdown that will compare your current brokerage to Epique so you can know for sure if this move is actually better in the ways that matter when it comes to increasing your income and living better, then just take 30 seconds while you're already in the comments section and book a call in the description below with my team right now. There's no cost, no pressure, and you'll walk away knowing exactly what you're doing next. And in fact, to really just pay it forward, at the end of the call, I'll give you the full plan we use for our agents that makes them 100K in 100 days without fail, even if they're brand new and even if they don't follow the plan perfectly. All right, let's get on to the next point. That is about to get a lot of hate, but really needs to be said. Ultimately, this point is hands down the most destructive, dangerous, and frequent point on this list that I see agents use. This will also probably be the one that people are most offended by, because the last and worst reason to join a brokerage is you. Before I explain, I want to give you a super quick story. There was an agent that I was coaching along with my partners. He was a great agent and a great leader, and still is. He has a small team. We helped him build, grow, scale, and overall just bring out the best in him because he was hardworking, driven, and coachable. Great qualities. The results that he achieved by working with us proved that he was the right type of agent and he had the right type of support. Well, at one point, my partners and I decided to move from EXP over to Epique. Despite that we were making good money, had a big downline, good upline, and strong business and referrals at EXP. After all, we did this because our job is to lead in the best interests of our agents, not just our own personal comfort and security. Anyway, out of deep respect, we talked to the agent, the team leader, about this move. We showed him how it would heavily outweigh the risk that he currently has in his business, how he and his agents would net more and even live better if they made this move. But then he kind of shocked all of us with his reply. Here's what he said. Someone at EXP is paying $800 a month for my lead gen, and I get referrals here. Plus, so-and-so in the upline said they're going to help me now, aka I'm special now to people who never cared before about me. To be clear, we never try to convince agents to go or stay. Just ask any of them and the hundreds, if not thousands, that are in our free programs, and you'll know for sure. Because after years of doing this, my partners and I, we know that the right offer will resonate with the right agents, and so we just choose to lead with value. In fact, we still support agents who are in the Carbon Club at EXP because we told them that even if we change brokerages, we will continue to support them for free. And we do. And they still come to meetings and ask questions, and we still give them those answers and deliver on the support we promised. You see, that's not what shocked us. What shocked us about this agent, this team leader, is that this was so out of character for him. This agent, this leader has always been smart and practical and put the interests of his team and his business above his emotions. He was always looking to improve. As long as the math checked out, he would do something with it. He constantly had good support, and all these things showed up in the results of the growth in his business, his team, and really as a person. What really just surprised us is we just didn't expect him to essentially allow his business, his income, and the agents who look up to him and depend on his decisions all to be taken hostage. Here's what I mean. He allowed someone paying $800 a month for his lead gen to decide where he hangs his license or not, even though he knew he would get leads every day from Epique and us, and that those leads would not come with extra splits or fees like the current leads that he has right now. In other words, he'd be getting the same amount of leads, if not more, and not have extra splits, fees, and costs associated with them. He also knew he'd easily save so much money with a lower split, a lower cap, and the fact that many of his costs, his team's costs, would be offset from lead gen, transaction coordinators, social media ads, and more. That even if he started paying out the $800 a month on lead gen on his own, he'd still be netting significantly more money than where he was currently at. And most importantly, his business wouldn't be held hostage. It would be his business, his lead gen. Here's the even sadder part, the real inspiration behind this point. Agents forget all the time about those who look to them for their leadership. It could be your clients, your family, or agents on your team, and even yourself and the high stakes, our everyday decisions in our industry that we have to make. In this case, he let fear deprive him, his family, his agents, and their families of being able to net more money and live better, simply because he was afraid, arrogant, or in denial. I'm not really sure, because he sort of disappeared after the shift, despite the constant efforts with no push at all to support him, like we always did. Because of his unwillingness to lead, to fight his fears, to put others before himself, now his agents, unknowingly, or perhaps knowingly, suffer, as does he. Now they pay an extra $400 fee for their transaction coordinators on every deal, when at Epique, they would have had that included at no extra cost. Now none of them will get into an amazing stock program because at EXP, they can't get icon status while on a team. Not to mention, most won't ever reach the roughly 50 deals it takes to hit it. While at Epique, even while on a team, they only need to do 24 transactions to hit power status, which is amazing and the only brokerage that I know of that allows that. Their listings won't get, or they have to spend lots of time and money to get, social media ads on every single listing, open house, price reduction, and even back on market they have. when at Epique they could have had those ads done automatically and no extra cost, and all the leads generated would be sent right to that agent's CRM directly. And on top of that, it would have helped them win more listings. Who wouldn't want that for their agents? Not only that, but they could have had healthcare for themselves, their spouses, their kids, vet care for their pets, roadside assistance for their cars, dental and vision for their whole family, and over 25 other perks that would have helped them to earn more, save time, and live better. And they will receive none of that. And for what? Fear, selfishness, unwillingness to change and grow. You see, somewhere along the way, he believed some lie in his head that said that someone else owns his team. Someone else is the leader, and it's not him. And it's not his job to lead, to care, and to strive for excellence. Somewhere in his head, he believed that now that he was part of an inner circle upline, a general, a commander, a VIP, that things were going to magically get better, even though they had been almost entirely absent his entire career. And, by the way, they still haven't delivered on those promises to him to this date of recording. On top of that, he caused and continues to cause unnecessary suffering on himself and others, while making literally less money, having less time, and less support. Now, that's not an insult to this agent. I make mistakes, you make mistakes, he makes mistakes, we all make mistakes. What I hope that this story warns you of is how easy it is for even the best to jeopardize our entire careers, our family's well-being, and the agents who look up to us, and of course, ourselves, because we stop practicing what we preach. We become prideful, arrogant, delusional. We fall for gimmicks and look for shortcuts. And overall, we lie to ourselves when faced with the truth. All that to say, emotions are one of the most common and also one of the worst reasons you could ever use to justify joining a brokerage. You have a business to run. Look at the numbers, look at the facts, make your decision, and do your job. Everyone, even yourself, is counting on you leaving your emotions out of it. Unchecked emotions are like being on a sinking ship and refusing a spot in a lifeboat because you've got the luxury suite. Emotional attachments can cloud judgment, causing you to miss out on practical life-saving options. All right, let's keep this going. I know that was a bit heavy. So if you're still watching and haven't reported me to YouTube yet, or maybe in the off chance you actually agree with the heart behind the message, then don't worry, this next one is a lot easier to swallow. I think we might even have some common ground. Another terrible reason to join a brokerage is quite simply monthly fees. Whether it's a lot or a little has nothing to do with the amount by itself. It is entirely based on what you get for that amount. You can go to Real and LPT and have no monthly fees. In reality, by the way, you do have monthly fees. They're just kind of disguised at both places as annual fees, but still work out to be very low monthly fees. For instance, if you compare the total included perks you get at Real with Epique, the point difference is 14 points for included perks at Real versus 48 points at Epique for included perks. For LPT, it's 12.5 points for included perks, and at Epique, it's 55 points because between recording my two videos of Epique versus Real and Epique versus LPT, even more perks were added at Epique. So sure, you might figuratively be paying less per month, and not by much, but you're paying out thousands upon thousands more each year at both of those brokerages. So you've kind of tricked yourself into thinking you pay less when in reality you pay out significantly more at both. That's why when it comes to monthly fees, no matter how high or how low, it's about what you get for your monthly fees, not how much they cost. What true tangible tools and services do you get that help you net more money, save more on expenses, and overall help you to get your time back and live better? That should be the only way monthly fees come into consideration. Because after all, joining a brokerage based on monthly fees is like buying a bicycle without wheels. It might look like a bargain at first glance, but without wheels, it's not going to take you anywhere. The last point on the list may be one of the most oversold, misleading value propositions I have ever seen, and really makes it one of the most common and truly worst reasons to join a new brokerage. And that is rev share. Cue the booing. I hear it. I know. Everyone likes to talk about rev share. Listen, a lot of my income comes from rev share, just so you know. I think it's amazing, revolutionary, absolutely life-changing, and I think pretty much every brokerage should do it. But it really only benefits the very select few. You see, the vast majority of agents will not ever benefit from rev share in any meaningful way. Yes, I get it. You have high aspirations of becoming a top producer and making that sweet, sweet passive income, right? Kind of like the 87% of agents who fail in their first year of real estate, thinking they just be able to walk in and become rich. If you think real estate is hard, or at least takes a lot of work to live off of, rev share is twice as hard, if not more. And that's before you add in the numerous restrictions, requirements, weird buffers, unclear calculations, and even fees that EXP, Real, LPT, and others put on rev share earnings just to get paid a marginal amount. Not to mention the fact that most of them actually pay you less the more you recruit. Yeah, rev share is a horrible reason to join a brokerage. And just to make this point very, very clear, one of the worst restrictions I've ever seen is that LPT doesn't even let you earn rev share until after you've capped. Literally, not only do you not earn rev share there for your first 120 days, half a year, but you don't get any rev share until you've paid them $15,000. That's insane. They'll let you recruit. You could recruit thousands of agents, and yet every year they're going to make sure that you pay them $15,000 before they reward you for the efforts and the work that you did to help them grow. Could you imagine if that's how brokerages ran right now? That whatever their cap was, they would not pay you a dime until you had paid it all in. So if you're at KW, until you paid them $18,000, they wouldn't give you any of your commission. If you were at EXP, until you paid them $16,000, they wouldn't pay you your commission. What? But remember, LPT lets agents recruit. So even if you recruit 1,000 agents, it doesn't matter. They will not pay you until you've at least paid them $15,000 every year. Tell me how that makes sense. Now, don't lose hope in rev share. In contrast, at Epique, which has, in my opinion, the least complicated, most fair and transparent rev share model I've ever seen, where agents are far more likely to even make money for their recruits since they get paid 10% of the company dollar on all 5 levels, and all 5 levels are unlocked from day one. I would still say that rev share is a terrible reason for the majority of agents, meaning non-team leaders and recruiters, to join a brokerage. It actually frustrates me, and is part of why I did this video to begin with, to see so many agents in brokerages using rev share as a value proposition, knowing full well that most agents will never see a penny from it. And I say that even though my partners and I make a living off recruiting. I actually help agents recruit, and for the teams that work with us, we even recruit to their teams for them. We are some of the top recruiters in the nation too, and yet we still do not push rev share on agents at all. Because joining a brokerage for rev share is like buying a lottery ticket because someone told you it's an easy way to get rich. A few people might hit the jackpot, but most end up with nothing but a pile of discarded tickets, empty wallets, and regret. We focus on building wealth through consistent, reliable efforts in real estate. And then they attract and recruit agents better than most ever will, simply by production, consistency, and also it helps that Epique has the absolute best offer and more to offer agents than KW, EXP, Real, and LPT combined. But again, remember, rev share is still not a great reason to join a brokerage. It's a terrible reason, in fact, to join a brokerage. So there you have it, the absolute worst reasons to join a brokerage, whether you're new or experienced, solo or on a team or team leader. Do you feel I missed anything, or maybe I had the orders wrong? Let me know in the comments. I want to hear your feedback. More importantly, if you've joined or are thinking about joining a brokerage for any of the reasons listed here, it's not the end of the world. Take a deep breath. Next, analyze what you're doing, where you're going, and if what you're paying or would be paying is tangibly worth it or not. If the value proposition is based on items in this list, then you're welcome. I just helped you to see through a common and misleading tactic used by many brokerages, teams, and downlines. Now, if calculating all of that seems like too much work to do, you're not alone. I'm with you. That's why you can just go to the description below and book a call instead. No strings attached. You'll meet with my team, and in 15 minutes or less, we'll help you with a breakdown of whether Epique Realty really is the best choice for your business or not. If you don't leave with value, then we'll give you a copy of our 100K in 100 days plan just for free, just to make sure you feel your time was not wasted. Okay, go book it. My team and I really can't wait to meet you because your business is about to get, well, epic. P.S. If you're a team or brokerage or downline who uses these points as the main proposition for joining you, it's okay. Just go check out my video on the best reasons to join a brokerage, or you can just comment with any questions you have. I respond to all of them. And in fact, I'll take it a step further. I'll personally invite you, book on the calendar, request me, and I'll help you with your value proposition for your brokerage, team, or downline. I don't sell coaching, I don't sell courses, and I won't recruit you. Okay? Can't wait to hear from you.